these faces and open doors when everyone else seems so serene, and I just feel so insecure. And where do I go when all the pieces of my heart lay on the floor? You say, come into the light, why don't you? Come into the light, why don't you? Come on now, come into the light. Where do I go with all these memories and all these bags filled up with shame? And how should I feel when you call me an angel and dress me in a crown of gold? And what should I do when tears of sorrow just won't stay inside these eyes? You say, come into the light, why don't you? Come into the light, why don't you? Come on now, come into the light. What should I do when a gentle hand reaches out to take my hold? And how should I feel when tears of joy, they just won't stay inside these eyes? And what will I do when I start to love you and really trust and know you're there? You say you'll be in the light where I am. You'll be in the light where I am. Come on now, come into the light. You'll be in the light where I am. You'll be in the light where I am. Come on now, come into the light.
Om Shanti. Om Shanti, Namaste, and good evening. Warm welcome to everyone who have joined in this wonderful Sunday special talk. I'm your host and your friend today, Sister Gautami, inviting all of you who have been connected on this virtual platform and also through YouTube who are watching. For everyone, namaste, a big namaste. And warm welcome with these wonderful, beautiful, colorful flowers. I understand that these are the flowers which are very colorful. But then I'm meeting and seeing those in this gathering who are real flowers with those innate fragrance that is spreading into the whole world, their values, their specialities, and their virtues. Among such beautiful flowers, and it is actually the whole world is a bouquet created by the Almighty Gardener. And in such bouquet, today I just asked early in the morning, God, please send me 2 flowers. We are going to have a beautiful gathering and we need just 2 flowers. And God granted the wish. And I think I am really very, very fortunate to invite the 2 wonderful, fragrantful angels all the way from Hyderabad, Bharat. So a round of applause to Sister Rishika and Brother Rithvik. Wow, I think you need to unmute yourself. It looks like there's a lot of fragrance, but we cannot listen your voices.
Good evening, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah,
Greetings of
it
peace.
is.
Peace.
So how are you and how's your stay in Bharat?
Yeah, so my name is Rithvik and this is Rishika, as you guys know. I'm actually quite well, and stay in Bharat has been quite enjoyable actually, and I would say quite adventurous because it's like the first time we stayed here for a very long time.
Because it was not a planned stay, isn't it?
No, definitely not. It was not a planned stay. Yeah.
So uncertainty is everywhere. In this uncertainty, we tend to really sometimes go sad because many things happen without any planning. So when things happen without planning, we all know that we have to accept. But at times it becomes really difficult. For you, staying in Bharat maybe may not be so very difficult because you have your friends and childhood friends and family, cousins, and all of them, so you could able to manage. What about those who really do not have many to meet and nothing to do, and still you have to stay? Of course, certain situations uncertainly do come up. And today's topic is all about that, mind over matter. And I remember a very wonderful slogan: if you don't mind, it doesn't matter. And if you mind, it shall matter. So I want Rithvik to explore more about this aspect. First, let's listen from them about today's topic, mind over matter. And you're all welcome to ask questions, put your questions in the chat box or your feelings you can share. And then in case if you want to interact with today's speakers as well, you can just raise your hand and you will be unmuted and you can speak comfortably.
So shall we start by introducing ourselves?
Yes, please.
Okay, so hello everyone. Nice to meet you guys. So yeah, I'm Rithvik and I'm currently going into my 4th year at university studying aero and astronautical engineering.
Is our voice audible? Do we need to speak louder?
Yeah, should you put the mic closer or something about the event?
I think we are a bit okay. You are audible.
Okay. Yeah, that should be okay then. I'll just bring it closer. Yep. And so today's topic then, mind over matter. Okay, so the funny thing is, I actually researched what Google would say about this. So like just a basic definition of mind over matter. And so, in fact, online, it just says simply, it's used to describe a situation in which someone is able to control a physical condition or problem, etc., by using the mind. But then something came to my head. How do I use the mind? And like, what is the mind? And so when I think about that, I know that the mind is a part of us because the mind creates thoughts, so it thinks, right? So then I was thinking about, okay, so then that means we need to find out about myself. So I need to find out about myself first because the mind is part of me, right? So as you can see, it's like a map. It's like one thing leads to the next. And then we are at the core, the basis of everything, and that is energy, that is me, right? So I'd say that it's important to understand the self first when coming to the line of mind over matter. And what do you think, Rishika? Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think mind over matter. Oh, I'll start by introducing myself. So my name is Rishika. I'm going to my 3rd year of my degree of maths and philosophy. And so the topic of mind over matter is very practical for me because I've actually talked about this with my flatmate who is in Southampton right now. And it's about how, exactly as Rithvik said, we can control physical situations by using the mind. And we know what the mind is because we all think. We're all thinking. So we all are using our minds. And so it's in our power. It's actually a very, very simple concept, right? So the practical way that I've seen it being used is I actually told my friend about this early on this year, and she had trouble waking up in the morning. And she's actually a nurse, so she has quite a few shifts in the morning. So she has to wake up by 5 or 6 or even 4 sometimes to get to the shift on time. And she always used to tell me like, oh, I can't seem to wake up. I don't know why. My body's just not listening to me. And so I was thinking, and this phrase just came to my head, it's mind over matter. Your body will act as you tell it to do. So whatever you tell your body to do, it's gonna listen to you. And it has to be, how do you train, for example, an animal, or how do you train anything? You have to make sure you're determined and you're constant. So this mind over matter is making sure you are determined within yourself, that you're in control. And so after I told my friend that, she was able to wake up in the morning, and any difficulties that come across, she always tells herself that it's mind over matter and that it's in her control. So that's what mind over matter is to me.
So just to add on to that, so from what I heard from Rishika, it links into my own analysis of mind over matter. So what I can tell from that is, first, what Rishika did is observe the self. So observing my thoughts, my words, and my actions. And after that observation is done, then I analyze, okay, do I need this thought at this time? No, I don't need this thought. It's just pushing me down. So then why am I thinking about it? Why am I repeating it to myself that, oh, maybe I can't do this, I can't do that? So just remove that. Even if at that moment, it might be true in whatever circumstance, you don't need to say something that's like a waste or negative thought. Just remove it. There's just no need. And so what Rishika did right there in her example, in her real life example, which actually worked, was that she replaced it with a positive and a more elevated affirmation.
Which is, I am in control.
I am in control. So I would say it's a form of affirmation. And I think one way that worked for me as well is early in the morning saying a few affirmations to yourself. That definitely works. And any other way that worked for you, Rishika?
Yeah, so from my experience, like you said, it's easier said than done to just say, oh, let me remove this thought. I know a lot of people go through a lot of situations. So those thoughts tend to come to your head and they keep on coming even though when you remove it. So a solution that I found that I'm still practicing is to replace the thought. So if I'm removing something from my mind, I need to give it something else to think about. So it's kind of not diverting, but it's replacing and creating a better energy than what you had before.
See, and the word Rishka used is replacing. And that kind of reminds me, I mean, I don't know why, but I just think of the word connection at that point. Because it's like, if I'm thinking about something, I'm connected to it. But if it's not helpful to me, then I want to change the connection. And that I find really cool because I want to make a connection where I'm kind of receiving good energy from. And I guess that kind of relates so much to yoga or to meditation because, in fact, the exact definition of yoga is connection. And we are constantly connected to something. Like right now, we are all connected in Zoom. And I'm connected to you guys because I'm seeing your faces and I can see everyone nodding.
So we're all having yoga.
Yeah, so we're all having yoga in this sense, right? So that's when we come onto the powerful topic of yoga and what it really is. It's really simple and it just means connection. Right, Rishika?
Yeah, so when your mind is connected to a really powerful source, then of course it's gonna be able to overpower any sort of physical matter.
Yeah, and the mind is metaphysical. We cannot see it. And just like that, so our thoughts, so our energy. And so is the source of energy. And sometimes, in fact, music can be a good source. It can help you feel good. I mean, so when I say music, so when I study, I like to listen to instrumental music because it's proven to help you flow. So it doesn't break the flow of concentration. But in terms of longevity and in terms of making it long-term, I like to make my source as God, so just sitting down and connecting to God in a form of meditation. How about you, Rishika?
Yes, I agree with that.
You agree with that, yeah.
Does God be very happy?
Yeah, I hope we're not speaking too fast or anything. Would anybody like to say something?
Now, probably in case if you can, have a musical slow down, because no, it's really nice to listen to both of you as you appreciate each other's sharing, and you have been really nice on the topic. And it's good that the inputs that you have shared, they are really practical. Could you please explore upon this particular thought that if you don't mind, it doesn't matter.
If you don't mind, it doesn't matter.
You don't mind, it doesn't matter. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
I think that's a very it's a very simple saying, and I think it makes a lot of sense, because if you don't mind,
does it make a sense actually? Is it
practical?
practical?
Yeah, it does. No, I think it makes sense, because if you don't mind, then it doesn't matter. So if you don't put a lot of mind to it, so if you don't give it that much importance, then it's not going to matter. Even if it's the tiniest thing, the more importance you give to it, the bigger it's going to become, even if it's really small, right? And if you just think this is not a big thing, it's okay, I don't need to waste my thoughts on it, then it doesn't really matter.
And I think it's important to really ask yourself, do I really don't mind? So it's like, for one example, if I'm in class and the teacher is selecting somebody for a special task, right? And I was not selected, for example, then I might say, oh, I don't mind, it's okay, someone else can take the place. But then, do I really don't mind, or am I just saying it for the sake of it, just because I was not selected, and I should just let it go? So I think in that aspect, it's important to just go deep with yourself, and that can only happen in a reflective state where you're kind of in silence. And yeah, of course.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely can't force yourself to say that, oh, it doesn't matter to me, because if it does, then it does. You can't say it doesn't. Yeah. I think it's just making sure you're looking at your thoughts and analyzing the patterns and seeing how much of your thoughts are going to that matter, and then being able to divert that.
Yeah, and when I do that, I find that I get to know myself more, and I get to know myself better. And in fact, all of these things, they help increase my confidence, and my stability, mental stability, and I also I guess my happiness as well.
It's nice, but sometimes using this particular statement, it doesn't mind, I don't mind, it sounds rude.
I guess it depends on how you say it.
Yeah, and then the intention behind it.
Yeah.
Which means that I can be more polite and I can be more honest in my sharing, and I can say, I don't really mind.
Yeah.
You can say, it's okay, I don't mind, or something like that.
Oh, yes. Great. Whatever is fine.
We spoke so much about mind and don't mind. What about matter?
What is matter? That's the big one, you see, because everything is matter. What's the matter with matter?
I think in this case, matter is not just like physical things, but it's external situations that happen. So experiences that you have, conversations, relationships. I think that counts as the matter that we're talking about now. And do you want to expand on?
Yeah, definitely. And so especially when it comes to, say, relationships, and what was the other thing that you said? Relationships, I guess, situation and circumstance.
Yeah.
One thing definitely pops up to my mind is the state of being a detached observer. And so that it literally simply means, I am seeing with these eyes, but in fact, I'm connected to myself, and nobody can break my stage because I know myself. And so let me help the situation. Let me help whatever's in front of me. And by giving it some good energy and then allowing myself to act. It's simple as that, really. So in fact, it's simple, but it's quite hard. It's quite challenging sometimes.
Yeah. In that moment, it's kind of hard to analyze. But detached observer, just expanding on that, it's like when you watch TV. Like when we were younger, we used to watch Tom and Jerry. Was one of our favorite shows. And in Tom and Jerry, they fight quite a bit, but they always make up, and they never like fall down or cry or anything. So when you're watching that from another person's perspective, you're not in the Tom and Jerry.
Yeah, so it's like you're watching a movie, but you're not swaying with the emotions that is presented in front of you.
Yeah, so it's making sure you're keeping that distance
emotionally,
mentally.
And mentally. If that is clear.
Exactly.
That's interesting. You took us into a totally different arena about matter.
Yeah. Well, matter is energy. Because Einstein did say, right, theory of relativity, E equals mc squared.
Do you
So,
want to explain?
so that basically means anything that has mass has energy.
So E is the energy, M is the mass, C is the speed of light.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's not necessary.
Just information.
Yeah.
That's nice. So I felt matter and material are connected. Are they?
Well, matter and material. Well, you might be. So that's a good question, but you might want to say, are they the same?
Probably at some point of time, I might mean matter means material.
Yeah.
And so when both are so closely related, materials sometimes are used in the physical sense, and sometimes it is also used in an emotional sense. And similar in the case of matter. Does it matter to you? Means it's not really physical, it's on an emotional level we are talking.
Yeah, that's true.
So could you please explore more about this particular thought? If you mind, it will matter.
Yeah, so again, it's coming back to what Rishika was saying earlier, actually. If something matters to me, I give it significance. I hold value to it. And somewhere within me, I hold it as something that's special, like some sort of importance. And so I think if it's too much, okay, so I'm trying to say that it can be, so there are different forms of holding value to something. Sometimes one way is like me being very attached. So for example, so I have my phone, right? So it's quite important. I use it for communication.
It matters.
Okay, yeah, it matters. That's what I'm saying. I have a phone and it matters. But if it breaks, so there are two things. So first, okay, I am very, very devastated and I'm very sad because I was very attached to my phone and it matters a lot. It is matter and it matters, right? So that's one way because I hold very high value to it. But then the other way is, okay, cool. What can I do next? You see? So it's like, okay, it's happened, but it's like holding on to what's happening, but not moving on. I think that's where the topic is going towards. I think it's about moving on, right? And that's what Mind Over Matter helps us do. It's like, don't be swayed by whatever matter or material. The important thing is it helps you move on, and that's the power of the mind. Rishika, do you want to add on to the power of the mind?
Yeah, so like Gautam was saying, when something matters to you, we give it some space in our bag, which is the mind. So if you think of the mind as a bag, everything that matters, you put it in the bag. And so if you keep on filling it in with a lot of things and a lot of materialistic things, then it's gonna get heavy. It's gonna get really heavy. And then so once your mind gets really heavy, then it gets kind of hard to sort out your thoughts, to just, try and focus on one thing because there's so many things that are in your head. And so what can we now do now that my bag is really heavy? If your bag is really heavy, you just need some time to sort it out. Like how we clean out our closets, how we clean our cupboards, we have to clean our books. So that's what we need to do. So reorganize and reprioritize. So I think that's very important when you're looking at matter. And like I said, if something matters, then you give it time, you give it thought. And so we need to check, what is it that I'm giving time and thought to, and is it necessary?
That's right. And giving something time and thought is giving it energy. It's the same way you kind of water the plant, just allowing it to grow, and the sunlight as well, giving it food.
I just thought of one more thing. If you give something a lot of importance, so it matters a lot to you, then it's very easy to be affected by that. For example, if I have a relationship that matters to me a lot, for example, my sister or my brother, then when I'm very emotionally attached, so my bag is really filled with all of those emotions that I have for this one person, then that whatever that person says, my emotions will depend on that. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree.
Will depend on that, and whatever they say will sway my emotion because they matter so much to me, right? So that's why it's also important to make sure that you're not. I'm not saying don't make sure nobody matters to you. I'm saying don't get too emotional when something matters to you. It matters to you, that's good, but don't spend all of your time thinking. Is that okay?
Absolutely, makes sense. Thank you for that input. We have a question here. Would you like to take the question?
Sure. One moment, please.
Oh, yes.
Okay, so the question is, can you please further explain
Einstein's theory? So Einstein's theory. So we all know that energy can be seen in many forms. And Einstein found a way to calculate this energy. And his theory was that anything that has mass, so for example, this phone has mass. If anything has a mass, then it has some sort of energy, okay? And the equation that he made was E is equal to mc squared. So energy is equal to mass multiplied by the speed of light. Okay, square. And so square. And so this is applied practically, and he's given, is Godmivan trying to say something? No. Okay. So this, so he gave an example practically, right? Einstein, that matter can be turned into energy, and energy can also be turned into matter. Okay. So an example of this is, do you remember that experiment?
Yeah. So I actually have an example. No. So I want to share a different example.
Okay.
So one example how I see energy and mass, and I see it work actually, is like, I mean, so my example is based on healing, the power of healing, right? And it's healing from the mind, because you see the mind. So we all agree that energy is everywhere, right? So that must mean that the thoughts that we create also produce energy. And so if it's producing energy, now we know that energy can be turned into matter. And okay, and the reason I'm saying that is because we know that mass is energy, right? So that means energy is mass, okay? And if my thoughts are energy, then I know that my thoughts can be impactful and it could be effective in day-to-day situation. And one example I'm giving is the power of healing. So it could be like, say, I have an arm pain or some sort of pain in the body. Now, if I generate these healing thoughts and these thoughts of healing, that, okay, you know what? Let me just send some good wishes and just feel that my arm is literally healing. Slowly, you will find that it's actually getting better, or at least it's speeding up the process, because you're actually sending energy to it. And you can also research this on Google, but there have been many experiments and many, I guess, blogs about how people have found it themselves and discussions based on healing from the mind. And that's one way I see Einstein's energy and mass equation in real life.
And would it be okay if I gave a scientific example? So there's an experiment that we actually learn about in physics. Do you mind if I explain? I'll explain it in very simple terms.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is that? Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay. So an example of where you have energy turning into actual matter. So in this case, it's going to be particles. Okay. So there is, we all know that energy, so matter can turn into energy. How is that? So if I burn something, then I'm burning that matter into heat, and it's coming out something as heat energy and also as light energy. Sometimes you can hear a little bit of sound. And so energy is always being transferred into different things. So that's matter going into energy. So now when we're talking about energy turning into matter, there's actually an energy called photon. So photons are just packets of light. So any light that you see traveling, that's a photon. Now there's an experiment that's been done, And this photon traveling has actually split up into two different particles.
So it's traveling
and split. So you'd be the wave like this.
Yeah.
So it splits like two like this.
Yeah, two different.
And so the two things, they turn into an electron and a positron. So this is an example of where you have a wave, which is energy, and it turns into a particle. Okay.
Yes.
Now this happens by pure chance. It's very random, and it's something that even we can manifest. It depends on the energy that we manifest, and that turning into specific particles that we want in our body.
Yeah. So Rishika, in fact, has touched particle physics, and this example of waves splitting into particles, right? So that's waves, so energy into mass. So that's what the foundation of this theory is basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so it's a more physics, science-based example.
Yes. And it can also be used in real life. Like
yes, real life, as the example that I gave. Yes. Do we have any further questions, Gautami?
I think we have.
Yeah, I'll have a look at the chat.
There is somebody called Pavni who want to share about Einstein's law of energy.
Yes.
Yes.
So I think you can give the audio. Just a minute, I think they have shared something. Does anyone has any questions? You can put it on the chat box.
Yeah, there was a question about law of attraction.
Yeah, there was a question.
There's a question called law of attraction and question mark, which means maybe probably is law of attraction true? And how do we use it?
Yeah, I was actually gonna go on to that topic as well, because this wave turning into matter, that's our manifestation. So whatever we think, we manifest, and that's basically what law of attraction is. It's being able to attract, using your energy, the things that you want to bring closer to you.
Yeah, and it's very similar to the energy and mass example. For example, it's like, so remember I gave the example of like an arm painting, right? What do I want? I want my arm to heal. And so law of attraction says you think about what you want, because that what you want manifests, right? And that's what you think about. Mm-hmm. So the thought that you create will manifest and will eventually come to life in some way or the other, depending on how strong the energy of thought is. Okay.
But it's not just, oh, I think about it and it just happens. Like, oh, I want ice cream and wow, it's here. That doesn't work like that. It's
not like magic.
Yeah. It's not like magic, but maybe a little bit like magic. You do have to make sure the actions that you do are also attracting what you want. Okay, yes. So law of attraction is also to do with the mind, but it's also to do with the actions that you do. Are they leading towards what you want?
Yes. So that's your thoughts, your words, your actions.
Yeah. And law of attraction is it works both ways. So if you say you want something good, you're gonna get something good. If you say you're gonna get something bad, even if it's as a joke, then if you keep repeating that bad joke, then it's still attracting that bad energy as well.
Yes. And you must have heard of the quote, say what you want, like speak about what you want, not what you don't want. So that's what that's what comes to my mind.
Yes. I think we have another question. So we have a question. It's what is consciousness in science? How to use it daily, day-to-day work? So consciousness in science. So I believe in science they've established that we run on some sort of energy. Some scientists do believe that there is a soul, that we have a spiritual being, that we are spiritual beings, but some scientists just know that the body runs on some energy, or they just believe that it's the brain. but there must be something powering the brain. And so I feel like they're still in that process of figuring out. They have been for a while.
Yeah, and I think it's important to keep in mind that science is still making discoveries until today. Like I remember there was one theory which was thought to be correct in our textbooks, but then after a few years they found out it was slightly incorrect, and this was in fact the flow of current through a circuit.
Yeah.
I remember this when we were studying, and so we had to keep it the same because that's how we were studying it before.
But it was still wrong.
Yeah.
And the thing about science and consciousness is that they are linked, but you can't really pair them that well together, because it's like saying, can science define what love is? Can science define what peace is? Yes, on an outer shell, they can tell you what are the different outcomes when you have love within you, or when you have peace within you. You have a steady heartbeat, your pupils dilate when you see something you like, but that still doesn't explain exactly what love is. And so I still don't think that science can fully explain what consciousness is, because again, it's not something that's physical.
Yeah. And then again, I don't think it needs to, as long as you understand consciousness, because consciousness is about like the state of just simply being aware.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm aware of something, and then you can take it from there if you're aware of something.
I think we have a hand raised.
Yeah, someone.
Would you like to?
Gautam, would you like to? Gautam, you're muted.
It's Namita who wants to share something or ask a question. I think it has been unmuted from here. Namita has to unmute herself to speak. Okay. I think the discussion is really taking up into covering many, many different dimensions. I didn't think about the scientific aspect of it, and I didn't think about the mathematical aspect of it, but you have thrown light on those areas as well, which is very good. Yes, with regard to the consciousness also, I liked your explanation. I recollect something which Rishika has shared. I don't remember the exact words, but it meant that with the power of mind, you can control the physical situations. Isn't it, sister, you meant in this way, that you have the control of the situation? Would you mind to please help us explore more about that, how we can control the situation? Something is not completely in my hands and something is really pulling my energy down. A situation has come up which is so challenging that before I respond with my positive energy, it is bouncing upon me. So how am I supposed to respond when my energy is low? How should I change the situation? And this situation sometimes is in the form of my own close friend or relation at times.
So I'd like to give my own examples. I've had an experience of a very similar situation, like you said. And so for me, it's when I had a lot of positive energy. And so I was continuously giving that, but there was no receiving or there was no giving back. And there was a few clashes between me and this other friend. And so the way you kind of deal or control the situation is just to be strong within yourself, because obviously after some time, after, being positive and taking that situation in a positive way, you become tired because you've given your time and energy to something that matters to you, and it's not working. So you're gonna get tired. If you don't see results, then it's natural to get tired, and it happens. So the way that I kind of found was helpful to control is to first be in control of yourself. So be in control of, so remind yourself, who am I? And remember that you are in control of yourself and no one else.
I was just going to add in. So Rishika spoke about tiredness, and I was just thinking, tiredness in certain situations happens due to expectations. So I think it's quite important to decrease the expectations, if not make it zero. Because zero is kind of hard sometimes.
Yeah.
Just to decrease the expectations. Just even if it's good or bad, doesn't matter. Just decrease it, and then I think I'll be less tired because my energy will run on the expectation, which I'm going to be expecting. So yeah.
Yeah, so how I handled that situation was first making sure I'm in control of my mental state. And the way that I approached it was in a very calm manner. So first, when I can control myself, then I can become calm. So it's like, for example, when there's a fight going on outside and you see the police come, you'll see that they're not angered. They are calm in the chaos. And so everyone gets reassured. They don't need to say anything or do anything. But when they arrive, they have that sense of calmness because they've dealt with situations like this before. So that too, you need to be a calm in the chaos. And I know it's easier said than done, but I think it gets better with experience. And for me, I feel like my experience is increasing. So that calmness is starting to build up slowly, very slowly. But it's getting there. And so calmly you approach the situation. And when you're calm, you're able to think better and approach things better. And any solution that you need, we all try and look for it from other people and from outside, but actually it's within yourself. No matter what anyone says, no matter what advice they give, it's up to you to make that action. It's up to you to change the way you think or approach that situation. So that's how I approached the situation. I calmly went to my friend and I had a very civilized conversation. And I made sure I went with the intention of not anger or sorrow or any sort of emotions like that. I went with a very peaceful manner, that I'm here just because I don't want any bad energy where I live. I want to be surrounded with good energy and I want to maintain that. So that's the thought that I went with, and it went very smooth.
Excellent. That was really nice. Total, everything under control.
Yeah. But actually before that, it wasn't under control. So just so you guys know, it wasn't under control. It happened. And so then after it becomes under control.
So
from what how long it will take, how long it will take when I am under control, as you said, I am very calm in chaos and I'm very composed and I make sure that I don't really have a little bit of anger also within me. And I enter into that field and of the situation and where I have to deal, I have to face, and I have to calm down and create it, bring a change in that situation. Before I enter into that sphere, I am guarded. I'm properly okay, like as you said. But how long it will take for me to control the situation?
So I think the second you realize that I am beyond this situation, that it's not me that's in this situation. You know, you feel very stuck in that picture of chaoticness. When you remove yourself and think, I am beyond this, this is not something that's going to affect me, I'm way beyond this, then it automatically starts to come to you. And it's a realization for me, honestly, it took like a week, because it was still me trying to control by doing something that's not in here, but in terms of speaking. So it took some time for me. But then after, when I realized I am beyond this, like I don't need to do all of this. And then I started to calm myself, and then it became easier.
It's like you're training your mind.
Yeah.
You're training, you're tuning your mind.
Yes,
so you are mastering your mind.
Yes, tuning. And just to add into that, from my observation, from what Rishika was saying, so in fact, firstly, she became calm from within before the external calmness could be observed, which is the calmness in the situation, whatever it is. And I think if you agree with me, because the calmness from within came to you, it was faster to attain the state of calmness outside.
Yes. And actually, I like the idea of imagery. So I'll use this example. So when you're looking at waves, so when you think of the ocean, if I ask you, Gautami, then what kind of an ocean do you imagine? Can you describe your ocean for me?
My ocean, all of a sudden. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
So if I ask you
beautiful.
to picture the ocean, what does it look like?
It's just blue waters, clean shores, and beautiful noise or music of the waves.
Slow waves, yeah.
Slow waves.
Is there a
and
sun? Is it sunny? Is it cloudy?
There's a silent music which is created by the slow waves and the gentle breeze.
Yes. Okay. Very nice. So, I know it's a very sudden question, but I like to think of the mind as a state of ocean. Okay. So let me explain what I mean by that. Sometimes in our mind, it's raining. Okay, it's raining. There's clouds. There's thunder. We don't know what's going on. There's crashing waves. And to be honest, I felt that. I feel like everyone has felt that before when there's a lot of thoughts and there's too many things going on. Okay. And my solution that works for me is when I can imagine my mind in that state and I know that there are waves crashing and there's a lot of chaos going on, I try and imagine a still ocean. So no waves, no movement. It's just still. And the sky is blue and it's very clear. And I'm sitting nicely on that water, on that shore. Still ocean. So even just talking about it makes me feel calm. And so when I imagine that and have that image in my head, I think it's a good technique to keep yourself calm.
And just to add on to that, you see everything that you just said, you're connected to this imagery. And so it's a form of meditation, which helps you calm down. So from all of these examples that I've just been observing in today's Zoom call, we are coming to the fundamental and the basis, the foundation, and that is connection. So I think it's important to understand and to ask the self, who and what am I connected to during the day? Mm-hmm. Am I connected to something that drains my energy? Because if that's the case, because if that's the case, then when the time comes, it will be harder for me to find my calmness within the chaos. So it's a bit like, I'm just using an example of like somebody going to war, right? They need to prepare themselves, prepare whatever they have.
Like every day's war with the mind.
Yeah, so I'm just using a war as an example. So it's metaphorical, the war of the mind, whatever. You're preparing what you need to take in before the war. So another example is an exam. I need to prepare my stationery before I go into the exam. If I don't have it, then it will take me some time before I ask the whoever it is, the teacher there, I need a pencil, I need a pen. So in that sense. So it's about also fine tuning. I was going to say an instrument as well. We tune the instrument to make sure that when we need to play, it's there for us.
I'd like to give a final, last analogy. So I know war is a good example. Exam is also a good example, but these examples are making me feel a bit, oh my God, like war, oh my God, exam. So maybe we can think of it as I'm going on a trip. Okay, I'm going on a trip and it's gonna be an adventure. Each day is different, each day is new. And so I need to make sure I have my bags packed, not too heavy, because if it gets heavy, I'm gonna get drained throughout the day. I need to make sure I only have what I need in my bag. And then so after when I'm going through my adventure, then I can take out the stuff that I need from my bag and use it very nicely.
Yeah, I think that's a beautiful example.
Yeah. So each day is an adventure. We just have to make sure that we have fun.
True. And each day we meant to take something different.
Exactly. We actually learned this from a TV show called Dora the Explorer.
Yeah, that's true actually. Coming to that, you see personally, I take inspiration from the little things, whether it's like cartoons or like animations. there's something about it, like morals, some little things, even little babies that we can see. Like, how are they so happy? You see, like that kind of thing. And I think it's nice to show gratitude and to appreciate the little things in life. And I think you become
And that's what keeps you light. That's what keeps you light and happy, when you just think of it as a trip.
And that's what keeps you going.
Great. And to change your mindset, you have been giving such wonderful examples, images to create good,
Images.
nice, still, calm, balanced images, and to connect to the music. So these connections probably can help me to change my mind, an aggressive, fluctuating mind to a stable mind. Is there any other thing? You said connection. Can we just explore more about the connection? How I can be calm in the chaos, how I can control the matter with my chaotic mind. Because when the matter is really, there is chaos in the matter. And when my mind is also running around justifying or proving myself, or, not really able to deal with the matter, and when there is a lot of chaos within as well, how come I should change my mindset? One thing I understood with the discussion of yours and with your sharing, that yes, it is a calm mind which can really deal with the matter.
Right. And I think coming to the topic of changing your mindset, I think it's just a matter of giving yourself time to take out time for yourself. Like we take out time maybe to do work, to spend time with people, but it's literally a matter of taking time out just for yourself, like for myself, and giving myself the importance and the value to work on myself. And people work on themselves in many ways. So one way that I do, I like to go for runs or jogging, yes, and as a form of physical exercise or working out.
I like to dance.
Yeah. And I also like to do the Rubik's Cube. So it's just something that I do like to take out for myself, which helps me find that calmness.
You both are so good. You're so composed and you have good choice in life, and you're doing also, you're making good choices as well. But then in many lives, it's not possible to take time. It is a very big challenge in nowadays, especially working people, taking time for themselves and then thinking, sitting and trying to change the mindset. Do you have any quick technique for the busy people?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's possible to take out 1 minute, literally 1 minute of your day.
So what's going to happen in 1 minute?
So
yes, I have a suggestion. So there's actually very useful 1 minute commentaries done by Sister Jayanti, and I'm sure Gautami Ben can send a link, or for any of those that wants to find out. And they're very calming. So once you listen to her voice, you will become very calm. Yes, it is a jam moment. So just a minute videos, and they are literally just a minute.
Yeah, and they cover various topics, and it's just so soothing.
Yeah, and you can choose and pick whatever topic you want for that day and just go through just a minute.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing I would do.
And I think the imagery works as well. For those that are more visual, then it's easier when you see something that's calm, and so it will calm you. But if you are more of an auditory person, so you like to listen to calming things, then you can do that as well. I think
and someone also said even the B-Zone app, that definitely helps.
Yes, the B-Zone app is very good. You have the B-Zone.
Yeah, I do have it.
So you have a question. Yeah. Would you like to take this question? Kamlesh Ben is asking, what would be your advice to those who joined uni in the mid of COVID and were not able to see peers or join them, had to be isolated for months and all sorts of emotion going in their minds?
That's true. I mean, in fact, this was something I was talking to my peers as well, that are like my juniors who are going into university at the moment, and or those that are already in university but experiencing difficult times. And so there's a few things to mention here. So you have to identify what difficult time or what difficulty you're having. If it's the university experience, and I totally understand that, because I love to go to the lecture physically and then listen. But right now it's just at home, and it can be quite distracting, or the environment isn't so accurate for studying, then I think it might be important, or it might be useful to also listen to these jams, because it's like you're trying to create an atmosphere, right? It's all about creating the atmosphere of studying. And maybe you listening to these jams, to taking a moment out for yourself, can kind of help put some sort of direction into your thoughts. So then it can help you study. But in other cases where you're thinking about the university experience, about traveling and about going into university, in fact, we have something called the World Wide Web. So, and in the World Wide Web, we have YouTube. And I personally like to go on YouTube and listen to students' experiences at university, whatever course they're studying. I really like to listen and take their advice. What problems have they had, and what are they facing? And any any advice they have about my course that I'm studying. So in fact, I guess that's the most we can do at this point, because we have to cooperate with everything that's happening around the world. And hopefully and surely it will get better. And so then face-to-face teaching will be resumed.
Yeah. And for those that maybe have already gone to uni, but are being isolated and like right now are by themselves, in maybe their halls or whatever room that they have, then one thing that I could say to that is make sure you have a routine. Make sure you are following a routine where there's not a time where you're just idly sitting. Okay. Because when you just leave your mind to be idly sitting, then it starts to dawn upon you that, oh my God, I'm by myself. And so that thought is going to start occupying in your mind. And then you start to feel a little bit more lonely and stuff. So I would say make sure you're calling people, make sure you're talking, having some interaction, and having a routine will help keep some sort of consistency. Make sure you're doing some sort of physical exercise, and just make sure you're doing something that's fun, something that you genuinely like to do.
Yes.
That's how I kept myself more active during my uni experience, because I had my first year, and then in second year it was we did not have any face-to-face lectures, so it was all from my uni room. And so I made sure that I was going on runs. I made sure he was coming on the runs as well, waking up, and just make sure I'm trying out new things as well.
Yeah, and one thing, it might seem like you're not very involved with the university because you're at home, right? Learning from home. So one tip I would definitely say is speak to the university about what they can offer you. Because I know for a fact my university, so our university, they have societies where you have virtual Zoom meetings.
Yeah.
Because for sure, if you're first time going to university and it's locked down and Zoom and everything's on Zoom, you won't have made any university friends unless you know people from before university. So that's one trouble that I know that some people are going through. So definitely speak and get involved.
Stay on the lookout. There's, for us, we had like weekly quizzes, like a Zoom, or is it
like a catch up?
It was like a game night, but on Zoom.
Yeah,
I don't know how it works.
So your university like understands that it's difficult times, and they should be planning something to accommodate you, to feel more involved.
Or you can just join these Zoom classes.
Yeah.
And have fun with us.
Yeah, so the idea is get involved in something, keep yourself busy, and keep learning and keep growing.
Great, plenty solutions. Nothing to worry at all. My God, you are a world of solutions. Well, I think if any question is there quickly in 2 minutes, people can put in the chat box, or you want to interact personally, also it's allowed. Well, let me quickly repeat, or what should I say, recollect the summary of your, thank you, Kamlesh, of your solutions. Yes, anything can happen. First of all, what I understood here with all the whole discussion is mind is my responsibility. I can't say don't mind to myself. It's my responsibility to understand in what state of mind it is at present. And by understanding its quality, I have to choose to change, to train, and to console and to confirm certain things in order to empower the mind. And those are the solutions. That is, you can use JAM, just a minute meditation. You can even go to B Zone. Thank you, BK Vanaja, Vanaja M. Thank you for this. Yes, B Zone is also one such thing. And a meditation commentary. But yeah, of course, we will they would give us some small commentary. And what else were the solutions about? Yeah, meditations and creating stable and good, beautiful images and even listening to music. Thank you. They're all very nice things. And you said that always keep yourself busy.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean you should like, oh my God, I don't know what to do next. Like, don't stress on being busy. Just think about what you would like to improve upon, whether it's playing instruments, whether it's listening to music or drawing, painting, stuff like that.
Get interested in something.
Yeah, or like learning something new sometimes is cool. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I saw this COVID has been really a blessing for many people because many have developed very difficult arts as well. Because online guru is such a thing. Google has become a guru. Online has been teaching many things to people, even kids and adults both. They have learned such a nice, rare arts as well. So your time is your creation. So probably whatever you want to create, use the treasure of time, use the opportunity, the choose. That is, you choose what to do with your mind, then the matter is always under control. Anything that you want to share? Last?
I'd like to thank Gautami Ben and Brahma Kumari Lagos for organizing this talk. And it's been a pleasure to share our experiences. And don't think that just because we've come with the solutions that we don't have the problems as well. We too relate to everybody that's watching as well. Yeah. And so we are learning from that experience and sharing it.
That's right. And every day is a new day of learning to improve ourselves. And yeah, it's actually been a pleasure sharing on this Zoom call, Gautami Ben. And thank you once again.
Thank you so much, really. I would like to share something about these two wonderful brother and sister. They both are good speakers as well, and very honest sharing. And to all those listeners and viewers, I would like to share that today's topic, mind over matter, is a topic given by Rishika. But then I see just before half an hour, 45 minutes before this event starts, I see a message in my WhatsApp. Rishika says, Om Shanti, I've been doing a lot of things and I've been going around. And so I'm really a bit low. And can we do this talk sometime else? Not now. And then immediately I see another message from Rithvik saying that, oh my God, we have been working out a lot and I'm just tired like anything. I don't have energy to do it. And actually, I opened the mobile to post the invitation to them, to post the link and everything. And then as I'm reading this message, I've already posted and I'm reading the message. And immediately I call to know the status, what is really happening. And then when I call, Rishika with a bubbling voice say, I like the invitation and I'm there. And I got the energy. And so you just need to really take anything that can be positive, that can really give you so much energy, and your minds will certainly control the situations which have no energy at all. Some people say, matter is energy, but I feel the energy choose to energize the matter. I can energize the matter with my positive feelings or with my negative and low face understanding. So I have to choose how should be my matter. However it is, if I feel I'm the master, as Rishika said, I need to master myself and train my mind, because we are all not minds at all. We are all master of our own mind. So to all the masters who are connected, because this particular discussion shall charge us and give us a master's degree. So you all are already masters with your mind. Congratulations. All the best, because you are the winners in all the future situations. Abha Vashishtaji, thank you so much. Thank you, Ji. So we'll meet next Sunday with another wonderful, beautiful topic on this Sunday special talk. For now, loads and loads of thanks to our speakers. And these are the beautiful flowers of thanks for all of you. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, there's a special request if you can conduct some guided comment meditation.
Yes, sure. I can just use it. Okay.
So I request everyone to sit nice and relaxed, but not slouchy relaxed, but just Open your shoulders and just relax your body. You can keep your hands on your lap so they don't distract you. And take a deep breath in and slowly let it out. Now, as you listen to the music, so now let me begin my connection by going within. You may choose to close your eyes or just focus on one specific thing. So taking a deep breath in, picture yourself as a point of light, of bright light, shining in the middle of the forehead. And slowly this light is entering outside of my body and flying upwards. Outside of my house, outside of my street, and it flies further and further. Going up, I reach to the outer surface of the world, and I go even further, passing the solar system, flying with the speed of light. I enter a land of peace, where it's filled with beautiful rays of light. And there waits for me another shiny bright light. And I, the soul, take energy and power and refill and energize myself from this light.
From this light, I take all the energy and replace it with my tired energy, my sleepy energy, and I replace it so that it's something that helps me grow, like a plant growing, like a flower blooming. This energy helps me focus, helps me calm down, and helps me realize that the mind is really powerful. And this is the energy from the divine, the energy from the universe, from the supreme, that I take in to recharge myself. And this is my supreme connection. Now, while experiencing this blissful state, I am full. So let me just take a few moments to just experience this happy, loving, and peaceful state a little bit longer. And now, let me return back down into the physical body, which is on earth. And slowly make your journey downwards, coming slowly, becoming more attentive as I come back into this little home of mine and become aware of my body once again.
And now this time, when I take a deep breath in, it's filled with peace and power.
So now what we can do after that,
with all this energy, we're now going to manifest it into matter by rubbing our hands.
Just take all of that and then you can just rub it on your face,
Put it on your face,
on your shoulders, and then on your legs,
and finally to your surroundings.
Spread it everywhere around you as well.
Thank you. That was nice. First is empowering yourself. After energizing, you spread the energy and you bring benefit to the environment as well. Excellent. Thank you, angels.